sexy, spooky bones. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Skeleton Boys, a horror movie podcast. I am Rolando.
And I'm Johnny.
Spot on.
Which?
Stop motion.
Oh.
Recreation. Because that's what you were doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Referencing our movie this week? Stop it. All right, anyways. Welcome to the show. This week we are reviewing Stop Motion. So the way it's written is just like one word. So it's not stop motion. It's stop motion.
It's Stopmotion. It's a Deutsch film.
Is it? Was it in a different language? I don't remember.
No.
That'd be funny if it was.
I know, probably premature to talk about it, but it felt very foreign. Like, I don't know.
Right?
It's something just very oddly, not even
French.
Yeah, I was gonna say not even European, like further north, like
very French. But we'll get into that. So as John will give us the plot in 5 words, we'll give our first thoughts, and then we go to do spoiler analysis. But first, we go back to TV Corner. We're doing Chucky, Season 2, Episode 5, Doll on Doll, which I'm assuming is just some kinky sex position.
Yeah.
So.
And what's the big reveal? Jennifer Tilly's not Tiffany, and Tiffany's not Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's been established a long time ago.
Well, according to the notes, the detailed notes of IMDb trivia, it says many fans speculated that was a plot hole in Seed of Chucky.
Oh.
That it was perceived to be a plot hole, and it was actually a body swap, not Jennifer Tilly putting her soul into Tiffany or whatever. It's a swap, which is why Jennifer Tilly's still in the Tiffany doll.
Oh, okay. So it was a body swap?
It's a body swap.
Like,
it's because they do the incantation, black magic shit during the... Yeah.
I thought that's what it was. I mean, I guess I don't understand. Are you saying that Tiffany looked like Jennifer Tilly already, and then they swapped bodies for no reason? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. I want to say Tiffany said that I want to be a movie star like Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, she did say that. Yeah.
That's the referential inside joke that it is Jennifer Tilly. So she actually became Jennifer Tilly.
Right.
Body. Tiffany became Jennifer Tilly in Jennifer Tilly's body, and Jennifer Tilly is in Tiffany's doll.
Which I have to assume is the original Tiffany doll.
Yes, because there's been we know there's the other Tiffany doll that was with the other Chuckies from earlier this season. So I don't know how many Tiffany dolls there are actually.
Yeah, I want to say there's something important about the scar that she's got in her forehead, but I don't know. Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah. Well, we'll just let that develop on its own. We don't just speculate about it.
It's not going to be something we need to know beforehand.
I feel like we're
like every other episode.
Yeah. I feel like we're gonna get there eventually, right? Because I mean, Glenn and Glenda don't know who they are, or do they now? Oh, they have the doll. They have the Glenn.
She presented the Glenda doll to Glenn, and I think Glenn was able to figure out that was them.
Yes.
So,
see, this is why I hate all of this, because it's like you need to have watched and understood all the Chucky movies.
Yeah, it's kind of a lie. Yeah,
it's not. which is fine. You can build your own mythology, but like if you're not distilling or summing up the information in a way that is to a newcomer, then I'm left cold, and I feel like I'm, would describe it as like left in the woods. Like I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Oh, left in the woods, like a cabin that has a bunch of Chuckies with compound V in them.
Awfully specific, but yes, that's how I would describe it too.
Because what else happened? Roy Chucky is still alive, right?
Roided up Chucky is still alive. Yeah.
I feel like good guy Chucky. That was kind of annoying me, but I think it's supposed to establish that the kids aren't inherently evil or don't have to be, and it's very Glenda sort of deal. But now that we've seen that there's a bunch of different personality Chuckies hanging out in a cabin somewhere with what's her name, the psychiatrist.
At least one more. That was the big well, not spoiler, but like the big moment at the end that leads you into the next one is
the bald Chucky. And
she has a Chucky, the weird psychiatrist that had a doll.
Yeah.
And recommended sending him to this fucking school. Has a doll herself. Bum bum bum.
And she also they have what's his name? Our first protagonist. Technically his mom is the protagonist, but what's his name's not dead. So Kyle's not dead, and what's his name's not dead.
Yes, Andy. Andy,
yeah.
Okay.
Andy Barclay, yeah. He's just, I don't know how much time has passed since that. 6 months, right?
Yes, they did a little thing the first episode of this season, or something, right?
Because he's got like a huge beard.
Actually, it's been a year.
Oh, it's been a year. Okay.
Yeah, because it's been a Halloween 2. It's been like a year since the previous Halloween.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's got a big old beard, and he's laying on a thing, and they're chopping his legs off. I don't know.
They're doing something, yes.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell what was going on.
We'll probably find out the next episode, I imagine.
But there's a fun little Chucky on Chucky violence.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Between roided Chucky and
good guy Chucky.
Good guy Chucky, yeah.
And good guy Chucky was about to get owned before he was like, he realized what he was made for, which is real ambiguous. But he thought he killed Steroid Chucky.
Oh yeah.
Because Jake asks him, "How did it feel when you did that?" And he's like I finally understood what I was made for. So do you think they're gonna have a friend Chucky fight with him? Probably not the whole season, but
there's a couple ways I see it playing out. It can be like he helps them. Like they're basically like this episode was kind of a point to break up the kids up a little bit, point of contention, right? A little conflict between them, and I could see it playing out two ways. Like either the new good guy Chucky is gonna like sacrifice himself and prove that he was a good guy after all, or he maybe is, even though he was turned good, he's still inherently evil. Yeah. So.
Which is also weird. Like they keep establishing that Charles Ray, what the fuck's his name? Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah.
Has a weird moral compass when it comes to things.
Yeah.
Like he's not sexist. He's not racist. He's, if you read what his moral compass was on paper, you'd be like, oh, he seems very liberal. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's faking being good. But I don't think the Chuckies knew that there was people listening on the outside of the door. So why would they have that whole conversation?
Yeah, I think that, and I think rightfully so. Devin and Lexi are smart to not want to trust Chucky. Yeah. I'm actually a little confused as to why Jake was so willing to trust him. Like he seems to be. That's kind of a weird character turn, considering
he's usually the one that's like anti.
Yeah, everything he's gone through. So,
I don't know.
Don't quite understand what his motive is.
I wonder. I also wonder if at some point down the line they just kill good guy Chucky and an evil Chucky takes his place to fucking fuck with him.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the one thing they haven't done is change good guy Chucky's clothes, which would probably help tremendously. But
Yeah.
you know, they're gonna do them. Yeah, what else
happened in
episode?
here?
Yeah.
There's a lot of the doll on doll title could be referring to. Well, I guess that could be referring to a couple things, right? Because the two dolls fight, and it could also be referring to that the current Chuckies that we are that are part of the plot or whatever, part of the story, are all kind of either being worshipped or befriending people. So it's about the Chuckies developing relationships. Because there's the overly religious nun, which is kind of a weird sentence, right? But I mean, she's like very, she's somehow, for some reason, she thinks like roided Chucky is like special in some way. Like she's like almost worshiping him. It was so weird. It was just an odd.
Well, yeah, they also established that she's kind of an idiot. Well, I mean, I don't want to offend religious people, but if you're religious watching this show, I'm not sure what you're doing. Yeah, that she's kind of an idiot. Like she doesn't, like she's all on Devon Sawa's knob about every single fucking thing he says, to a degree where he's like basically like, "Hey, shut up."
She lacks the common sense, right? To see that it's and then we also see that, which we have referenced, is like there's the other Chucky that's cutting up Andy at the end of the episode that the psychiatrist is talking to. And then of course our good guy Chucky. So don't know how many more Chuckies there are going to be. Probably just a few more. We still haven't seen who's the big reveal. So it's either going to be this Chucky that they referred to him as Colonel is going to be the one that was the mastermind of all this, or maybe they're going to introduce the act. There will be another Chucky that will be the mastermind. So there's 3 episodes left.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, there should be like 3 episodes left, so probably get those answers.
I will say that this wasn't like my favorite episode, but it does probably have one of my favorite moments in the Chucky series. And that's Jennifer Tilly watching Liar Liar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was fun for me. I mean, also like, I thought about how much fun they probably had with Jennifer Tilly killing her younger sister on screen.
That's right, yeah.
Tiffany kills Meg when Meg walks in on seeing that Jennifer Tilly is now the doll. Mm-hmm. Oh, I get what you're saying. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to plop my soul into the doll. We're going to swap souls. I thought that was a thing already, though. I don't know. I'm confused about the whole thing.
I think Chucky, what he did is he split his soul. This is why all these Chuckies are running around.
Yeah.
But I think because there's no more Charles Lee Ray. He died, right? Or I forget how he died in Child's Play. How did I forget how he died?
Oh, he got shot.
That's right.
And they were trying to kill him, and it was a cold open where he does the thing and transfers his soul into the doll.
That's right. And I think Jennifer Tilly, they made a point to say that Tiffany just body swapped with Jennifer Tilly. So I'm assuming they're going to return Jennifer Tilly back to her body, and then we never have to hear from her again. It's my least favorite storyline.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, what's going to happen is Jennifer Tilly is going to be framed for a lot of murders she didn't commit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, same. I was pretty lukewarm on the episode. I think everything is just like kind of. We had a detour last episode, and
mid-season slump, right? I feel like we've been seeing this happen a lot lately.
It kind of got back on track, but I don't see a clear direction for the last 3 episodes. What the finale is, because I still feel like we just got to this school or whatever, reform school, and so it's just like nothing much has happened. We're almost done with the season. Yeah, so it doesn't seem like it was as important.
A reform school that like intentionally made it a point to tell the audience, hey, this is where Charles Lee Ray was like a part of, and I completely forgot about that until like I was watching this last episode. I'm like, oh yeah, is that ever gonna be a thing? Like,
yeah, and I think I made a note that that they were using this as an excuse to do the flashbacks because we saw a lot of flashbacks the first season about Charles Lee Ray's origin. I thought they would continue since we're literally at the place where he he lived at for many years. So
yeah, because we're trying to figure out why he was taking all those selfies and doing the scouting, right?
Yeah.
Like, why does Chucky not, like, is he barely figuring out about this cabin?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, maybe Colonel sent that Chucky.
Okay, yeah.
Or maybe there's another Chucky, an unseen Chucky yet that we don't know who's the mastermind of it. That's my guess. I mean,
which is why I'm saying I'm confused. Like, if Charles Lee Ray grew up in the surrounding forest area, and in this place, then theoretically he knows everything about this place, right? Like in the forest area where he hid the bodies and did all that stuff. But I don't know.
That's interesting because, like, I feel like even though I think what they're saying without saying is that he split all his soul up, and put his soul into all these Chuckies. But now that they're sort of all awake, they're starting to become them like different individual selves.
They're having issues remembering things because it's not his memories anymore. Like it was never like a hive mind thing, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm gathering because everyone's kind of developing personalities, which has been kind of fun because we've had different types of Chucky, which is what are they going to come up with? What are they going to come up with next? Is kind of fun this season. I think
they should pin down the Roy Chucky and then Clockwork Orange him also. Clockwork Orange, all of them. Fuck it.
Yeah. All right. That was Chucky. We're gonna move on to our. Unless you had any other thoughts, we're gonna move on to our main review of Stop Motion. Not
Stop Motion.
Stop Motion.
Stop Motion.
Stop Motion. John, do you want to give us the plot in 5 words?
Johnny. 5 words. Plot summary. Rolando, drum roll, please. For 2023's Stop Motion. Coming in at number 3, a really long Tool video. Coming in at number 2 for Stop Motion. Not a Wallace and Gromit.
I know, that was disappointing.
I was waiting for it. Right? Yeah, I was like, why bother?
Yeah.
What is this? Chicken Run? No. And coming in at number 1, AI could have fixed this.
There it is. Exactly.
Truth comes out.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to tell you. The dangers of not having AI. You see?
Alrighty. What do you think, John? What are your first thoughts?
So, I think the premise and the idea are really cool. And when I was watching the stop motion portions, it was really neat. As for the actual story, I don't know. I was a little underwhelmed. I don't know what was... Felt a little lackluster in my opinion. It was... I don't know. I feel like the way you feel about the Jennifer Tilly portion of Chucky is the way I felt about the real life stuff, which I know was important, but it was also like, I don't know.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Yeah, I was also underwhelmed by the characters in this.
Yeah.
I didn't have any sympathy or empathy for any of the characters in this, if that makes sense.
No.
Only because I think they did a really poor job of like revealing who these characters were. And it may have been because it's like, I think they purposely did that to kind of make it a mystery, because the whole movie is like basically a mystery of who she is and kind of a, what would you like, a psychological exploration of the character.
Yeah.
Her psyche, being in her psyche, and how twisted and weird and horrific it could be, which I think is to its detriment because we don't know who she is. She's just like in the beginning opening. She's just sort of we can assume a very what is it? How would you describe it? Like she's held like she's kind of just trying to finish her mom's movie.
Yeah.
And she's very restrained and very kind of like
So
away from everybody.
We're able to gather that her mom is like a legendary stop motion animator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. They wear like, I think it's just the uniform for her mom's request, I'm assuming, to dress like that. Because then right afterward, when like the girl leaves, she gets all dressed up and goes to like a nightclub to let loose. And then that's where we kind of learned that her mom's legendary because she runs into like her boyfriend's friend, who's also her friend or whatever, is like, oh, my company did this. And they mentioned something about her mom being a legendary animator, which I'm like, okay, they're trying to explain this to the audience, but I feel like these guys are all friends. They knew this. I don't know. Like,
yeah, why? We've been friends for like 10 years. Why? My mom is a legendary.
Yeah. Need I remind you that your mom's a legendary, stop motion person? I've been telling you this every day for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
But when that was happening in the nightclub, I, for a second, was like, oh, no. Did I fucking click on The Omen by accident again? I forgot what movie I was watching.
Yeah, and I think these brief moments happen where she kind of has like some assembly of a life, right? But then it quickly, her mom, I don't think this is a spoiler, her mom gets sick, right? Or something. She has like an episode, and so she has to be in the hospital, and feels like part of the plot setup is that she has to finish whatever her mom was doing.
I think that was the other issue. They were all talented. The actress that played the mom, I thought did a good job, but there was something a little too sincere about the way she handled some things. I had to read that she was being condescending with like a pat or like whatever when she was showing affection. And I didn't catch that. I had to read that. Somebody was like, oh yeah, because she's being condescending. I'm like,
we barely
too sincere.
get a hint of their relationship and how like domineering she is to her daughter.
Which I just thought it was like a work thing. I just thought she was a fucking horrible boss, which is like, oh, okay, you just deal with that. So
yeah.
Like, yeah. Which,
and then like, also I feel like the stop motion is excellent, by the way. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's fucking rad. Which I'm assuming more time was spent on that than
the story.
Yeah.
And I think that, unfortunately, I feel like I almost wanted to, like, if they would have just been a little bit more time explaining stop motion, because it's kind of like a very niche, old-fashioned way of doing this type of animation.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, I almost wanted to, like, spend more time in it. I'm just, like, quickly are told, like, this mom's the best. She's working on it. They have a very abusive relationship. And then shit just starts. That's like the first 15 minutes, and then shit just starts spiraling out of control after that. And
yeah, there's also moments where I realize pretty early that some things aren't what they seem, and I was just like,
this is too obvious.
When is this going to be a reveal? Because that's weird.
Yeah, there's definitely things that are very obvious about what's going on. I don't think it takes
a lot to figure
out.
Yeah.
Just like with, first encounters with things you kind of like, without getting spoilers, like first encounters with things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I know what's going on. I know what this is. Yeah, I know what this is. Course. I know what that is. Yeah. It's pretty evident.
Yeah, what's there to say that without spoiling anything? It's just, that's the thing. Like, there isn't a whole lot of story. It's just kind of, you're making assumptions. Like, I don't know. Okay, they have a horrible relationship, and her mom, which this is the point of the story. It's even in when you read up the synopsis of like the film, that her mother gets sick, and it's not even a spoiler that the mother dies because it's in the script. I think it's in the trailer too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, well that's gonna happen. But then I feel like it took like 25 to 30 minutes for that to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like if they had spent more time post death and what that was doing to her head, maybe it would have been a more interesting film.
Yeah, and I just feel like I didn't know this main character. I don't know why she wanted to do it. She just says like, "Oh, I got ideas."
Yeah.
And then that's it. And we're supposed to just go by that. And then I just think the framing of this story doesn't work because they want to reveal all these things, and then we're learning things about her as through the stop motion is what I'm gathering, right? Parts of her psyche is what she's revealing through her sort of like very morbid, dark stop motion film she's started to make on her own. And to me, it just like didn't land on me. I was just like didn't really invest or care about anything that I was seeing, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, even at that, I feel like she eventually just starts making her own stop motion film, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Couldn't understand what the parallel was. It just seemed like the
coded.
story of the stop motion film was written first, and then they try to write something around that, but it didn't work because I'm just gonna flat out say if the whole movie was a stop motion story in stop motion, I'd probably think it was an amazing film.
I low-key thought for a second that this is funny. I kind of thought like maybe she would start seeing her world in stop motion, which she does to a degree, right? But but like almost immediately she does, almost like the whole world is in stop motion and she becomes a stop motion character, which is what I thought was gonna happen. Kind of like that's like her inner psyche,
like a life-size doll, like
a Chucky ad.
Yeah. I was gonna say like a Goosebumps episode or something.
What's a good comparison? Like yeah, like she becomes
Twilight Zone thing or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But it's not. It's definitely not that. It's pretty what you expect to happen happens.
Yeah, pretty meat and potatoes of a sort of
artist.
Psychological thriller. Eventually slasher. like when that happens.
Yeah, and there's like no reference to like what's his name, Henry Selick, who is like the master at this.
Are you talking about you mean I actually forgot his name. Shit, the guy that did Puppet Master, right?
Yeah, he's Henry Selick, the Puppet Master. No, he did like Nightmare on Elm Street, and he did like I think he's in charge of the Lacavia movies. You know, like
oh, okay.
He's kind of is like the most mainstream animator of this type of work.
Yeah, Henry Selick, the guy with the big mustache, who was popular in the 80s.
Yes, Tom Selleck.
Right.
Magnum PI.
Henry Selick's Magnum PI.
Yeah. But yeah, so it almost feels like it's a little like what would you describe it? Like Black Swan was a movie that came up.
Yeah.
Like a lesser Black Swan.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just feel like they could have done more with the character. They could have been like explore why the character is trying to tell this story, and maybe she wants to do something different from her mother. Like there's no conflict here.
Which is also like some of the things where I was like, okay, so she's friends with this like neighbor little girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the neighbor little girl is like convincing her to do a bunch of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's also really good at mimicking her voice when she does recordings on a tape recorder.
Mm-hmm. As all as children are.
Yeah. But when she convinces our protagonist to use, or I don't know if you can call her protagonist, to use real meat inside of the things for whatever, I thought that was going to go somewhere. I thought like, oh, it's making the more reality based, blah, blah, blah. But no, that's just a nod to somebody named Jans van Kemmeyer.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Which is something that she actually did. So
okay, yeah.
That was just a reference to that and nothing more, I think, because I can't see until maybe the end, but
yeah, you're treated like an outsider. You're treated like an outsider in this world.
Yeah.
And it's like purposely, I think, obtuse the way the characters behave and the way they act. And so it's like, I don't care what's happening to these characters because I don't know them. I don't understand really their profession either that they're trying to explain.
No, I don't understand. I think that's why we both thought this was like a European film or something, because if you're making any sort of money doing that, which, I mean, I hate to break it to folks at home, stop motion animators or animators do not make a lot of money. Not anymore. You are in a room with a huge fucking team, not just like two people or
right.
I guess her friend is a more commercial version of that, which I didn't understand. But yeah.
So yeah, that's a great point. I think I encourage everybody to go watch the making of Box Trolls. You probably can find that on YouTube or something. But they show all the artists and all the faces and the team and the amount of work that they put into it. And it takes like years and years and years. And you get a real sense of like what the process is and like how unique and special it is. So I would venture out and look for any kind of making of, because they're much more interesting.
And we also saw that in real time, right? So we used to have a class called Practicum, which I'm sure like Practicum is a pretty common, I think, class title, right? So this one, it was to showcase what we've been doing as far as like directing projects. That's basically all it was for, really, right? I think. I forgot the guy's name, and I wouldn't mention his name anyway, but there's this one guy who decided to do Hellraiser. Do you remember this?
You've told me many times that I enjoy it.
Man.
So this is my favorite.
Brilliant, like probably the most brilliant thing I ever saw in Practicum. There was a little bit of live action. People kept dropping out of the project, so people kept changing characters, I think. And then it ended on a stop motion of Pinhead walking.
Crude stop motion.
Yeah. This was like early 90s, early or late night cartoon stop motion, just like purposely shitty, like I don't know. It was so interesting. I just will never forget that. Like something that'll just be in my brain forever is this little Pinhead just kind of wobbling through some chains, plastic little chains. And then that was the end of the thing because he never finished it. And I remember there was a gentleman who was notorious amongst our colleagues as being too full of himself and too artistic, and like nobody respected, like, which I was like of two minds about it, but he had all these methods. He had these methods, and he was like, no, it's got to be about the art. And everyone's like, oh, whatever. And I'm like, what are you doing, guys? Like, yeah, he's being a little extreme about it, but you're also in theater. Like, chill. Like, you stop trying to make this look cool. It's not. Sorry. We're all dweebs. Just let it happen. But I remember I walked up after him after the class because I thought for sure he was going to have so much to say about how fucking garbage it was and like why did he even bother showing that. I was like, yo, I'll go by his American version of his name. Hey, Robert, what'd you think of the film? And he was like, it was fucking brilliant. You kidding me? I mean, obviously it was made poorly, but it's genius. I think this guy's actually a genius. You're going to be thinking about this for the rest of your life. And I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. And I don't know. That was like whatever year it was, I guess.
Right.
Thousands.
10 plus years.
Yeah.
15 years. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I don't think I saw it, but I did hear about it. I mean, I guess he was just trying to thought this was a good idea, and he saw it through, right? I mean, he did what he could.
Yeah, did as much as he could. Yeah.
Yeah. And within his limitations, right? I mean, he wasn't an expert in this, but he did try because he thought that was the best way to tell the story.
That's what I took away from it too, because I was like ready to bash it all, and I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't try to begin with, but
yeah, like I totally get that.
Which brings us to my point about this film.
Fucking garbage. Yeah.
No.
Be Hellraiser.
When you focus your entire life on being really good at stop motion, you're going to be not that great about live action stuff. So,
I think honestly, I would have liked to have watched this with Henry Selick.
Yeah,
he could have been like, "Oh my god, this is great! Are you watching? This is excellent."
Like, it's so amazing, and watch my show Magnum PI. Not the remake, because I think there's another one there. I don't know. I think there's a new version of it.
This is how I felt making Nightmare on Elm, or is it not Nightmare on Elm Street? Scratch that. I'll edit this. I'm not. Nightmare Before Christmas. This is what I should have done. Damn you, Tim Burton.
I told you I needed real bones for Jack Skellington. I was the one that convinced Timmy to say Skellington. He wanted to say skeleton. I'm like, that's boring. Just kidding. I don't know why I'm making him sound like Jiminy Glick. And that's boring. So tell us a little bit more about stop motion. Yeah. So that should we get into spoilers?
Yeah, let's go. You haven't done that, have we? Okay, let's get into spoilers.
Wait! No, stop talking, guys. Stop the podcast. Please stop the podcast. Because we're about to go into spoilers.
Oh, what? The little girl that's her friend's not real. She's in her head.
Oh, nobody noticed the little girl.
Nobody noticed all those obvious signs.
That was the most disappointing plot twist of any movie I've seen in quite some time.
Like, there's a part where she decides to kill the little girl, which I didn't quite understand.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I was like, what is... I guess it's supposed to be the beginning of the descent into, like, pure madness, but I didn't understand why she wanted to kill the little girl.
She was on a killing roll because she had just killed the friend who was taking her shit, and then she killed her boyfriend, quote unquote, right? And then she tried to kill her herself.
Oh, that did
her inner
happen
child.
After. I forgot.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that happened before. I mean, I don't know. I think I had kind of checked out. I was like, okay.
Yeah, she
She's
tries
like,
to may it up.
Yeah. But she kills the little girl, and then the little girl's like, did you get that out of your system? I'm like, wow, the only thing that could have made this worse is some corny ass dialogue like, did you get that out of your system? Oh, no.
Yeah. See, Henry Selick hated that part.
But I think the big reveal is she was able to she pulled out a piece of her shin bone or something.
Yes, in her leg.
In front of her boyfriend and her friend or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she ends up killing them and using them too to make little miniature mounds of people.
That's why I said it was like May, because May does the same thing.
Yeah.
But
May is far superior.
Way superior. Angela Bettis is excellent performance.
But then, yeah, at the end, she essentially kills herself, but it's okay because
she puts herself in a box or something.
There's a egg thing that explodes. And then that's kind of it. I don't know what the egg meant. It's there.
Yeah. I think if you're on board with this movie, all of that stuff works for you. Like if the beginning works for you and you're generally creeped out and intrigued by what's happening, then yes, the ending is kind of like a mindfuck for you. I think we were the latter. We didn't care much. Yeah. It did affect us the same way. So
yeah, I can see people liking this film. I think maybe we've just seen too many films that are similar and just better.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great visuals in this. I think it's really competently directed.
Oh yeah.
I will say that. Like it's really well directed.
It's just
like
the human story's not there. Like, man.
Yeah, and like I think it also like you said, like the stop motion is a really fun gimmick. Yeah, I guess you can say. Yeah. That's how I would describe it. So there are things to kind of pull from it, but I was gonna just look up who Robert Morgan is, the director. Have he done anything else? Haven't heard of anything. Oh, he did ABCs of Death 2. Have you seen that one?
No, but I know which one he did. He does. I think his stuff is focused on stop motion.
Oh,
That's
I think
why I made
know
the
which
joke.
one
Like,
this is.
yeah, I think that's why I made the joke. Like, when you only get good at stop motion, you're gonna be bad at real motion.
And there's some like terrifying, imagery and like shots and shit in this, or like the girl with the painted eyes and shit. That was like so creepy. So,
Yeah.
Because it took you have to like takes a second just to kind of like process what's actually happening there. But yeah, just like I think that.
And what was with the egg though? I didn't understand that. The black egg or whatever it was.
Unfortunately, I was like you. I did kind of check out towards the end.
Yeah.
Be honest, I just was not invested. Just things were happening, and I was passively watching the movie at that point.
Yeah.
So, for completion. So,
because once I saw that part, I was like, "Oh, look, egg?" Question mark. I was like, "Who cares? It can't be a rebirth thing because clearly she's killing herself."
Yes. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I do like she takes drugs, right? Her friend gives her drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when her friend decides to try to make a business deal with her. I was like, okay. And she doesn't realize that she says out loud that, like, no, fuck that. I can't work at a place like that. I'll kill myself. Which is funny because she kills herself anyway because of what
she does work at a place like that.
Yeah.
And does kill herself. So the irony.
I mean, her friend did do a shit thing, though. And when she went to go visit her on set, she basically used everything she had shown her as reference photos, which is, like, not cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why you got to copyright your shit.
Yep. AI, or just gonna AI it.
Yeah, you got to AI the whole thing. If you had just AI'd it, you could have made the film already, and then she can't take that away from you. So.
Yeah. Is there anything else just to reveal about this before we move on and rate this movie?
Oh yeah, the little girl's not real. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Who do you think the little girl is? Her inner child?
Her inner creativeness that never got to be
Fully.
her.
realized.
Yeah, her, because her mother suppressed all that. And also her intrusive thoughts. I don't know.
Sounds valid to me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you want to
We're gonna rate it. Yeah.
We're gonna rate it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, John. How many sexy spooky bones do you want to give it?
How many sexy spooky bones will you give it? Sexy bones. Ooh, sexy bones. Well, I know what Johnny. Show us your sexy spooky bones. No, wait, don't do that. Just rate the movie.
I'm going to give Stopmotion 5 sexy spooky bones.
Yeah, I feel about the same. I think it was a 5. It didn't work for me, but possibly could work for other people.
There's something there, you know?
Yeah,
I
of
gotta
course.
give it that. There's something there. It's just not, it didn't land.
Yeah, like I liked all the actors. I thought it was well acted.
It was very, very,
properly directed, interesting visuals. Just
just
like,
the storyline for her was kind of bad.
it's almost like the opposite of that other movie. What was the other movie we saw with the little girl in the dream nightmare?
Oh, Moon Garden.
Moon Garden, where Moon Garden takes the idea of like basically like it's he wants to like show all these crazy visuals and nightmare dream stuff. That's the whole purpose of the movie.
Yeah.
But yet I felt like it was a little more competently executed.
Yeah, because you were afraid for this little girl. You knew what the situation was, and
Right.
there was
Yeah.
more written about even her parents, even though you're only getting flashes of that.
Yeah.
So you understood these people more. I don't know.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Thank you for listening, and as always,
Stay spooky. And get that black egg. Oh, that sounded terrible. Bye.